He smiled about these days. After setting the glass on the table, he began to strum the guitar. In tribute to Layla, the dog left behind, he always played Eric Clapton's Layla first. The email he'd gotten the day before from Wizard, a friend still in Afghanistan, had been discouraging. The possible sighting of Layla hadn't panned out, and as he sat alone in the twilight of a setting sun, he let his despair of ever finding her sink into the music. She had saved his life, had kept him from stepping on an IED, and he owed it to her to find her and bring her home. To keep from agonizing over Layla's condition and saying to hell with his 2-glass limit, he closed his eyes and let the music consume him. The dogs played until they tired themselves out, then brought the balls to him, dropping them at his feet. Both flopped down, panting and tongues hanging out. Not ready to go in, Cody sipped his scotch between playing Eric Clapton songs. After a while, the scotch was gone. He was contemplating how long to wait for his second and last drink when a car turned into the driveway across the street. "Quiet," he said to the dogs. The car pulled into the carport, and the engine shut down. Because he sat in the dark, wearing a black t-shirt and jeans, he was confident he wouldn't be seen. A woman got out and headed for the front door. Her hair was swept up in a ponytail, the tip of which reached halfway down her back. Her height, he estimated, at a little above average for a female. She was slim and wore a pair of jeans and a blue t-shirt. Something about the slump of her shoulders made him think she was sad. Not his problem, though. Continuing his impersonation of a statue, he remained still, waiting for her to disappear into her house. She slipped her key into the lock, then turned and stared straight at him. Cody sucked in his breath. He'd spent countless hours hunkered down in dusty rooms or on rooftops, his sight centered down the barrel of a sniper's rifle, and he knew how to become invisible. He moved not one muscle as she squinted into the dark. There was no way she could see him, but it was as if she sensed him. Impossible. He'd served 6 tours and never once been spotted from whatever hidey hole he was using. Shaking off the ridiculous notion that she knew he was there, he remained still. The dogs were alert, watching her, and he gave them a hand signal to stay quiet. She shook her head, as if she must be imagining things. Cody let out the breath he'd been holding after she entered her house. Long after she'd disappeared, he remained on the porch, his gaze focused on her window as she moved around, his yearning for a drink forgotten. Although her blinds were closed, he could track her movements by the lights being turned on or off as she moved from one room to another. He hadn't gotten a clear view of her face, only knew she had long brown hair and that she was sad. The dog settled down again, and he picked up his guitar, softly strumming Lonely Stranger.
Was someone watching her? As she slid the key into the lock, Riley Austin glanced over her shoulder. The only unusual thing she noticed was a light on in the kitchen of the house across the street. So someone had rented the place. That hadn't taken long, but she wasn't surprised. It was a charming bungalow, with its 2 dormer windows, royal blue shutters, and, her favorite feature, the wide front porch. Having nothing more than an overhang above her door, she coveted that porch. The lock clicked open, and blaming her unease on the strange events of the past few days, she hurried inside before the cats reached her. Arthur, as usual, was the first to greet her, soon followed by Merlin and King Pellinor. The kitten tried to climb her leg, his claws digging through the denim into her skin. "Ouch, Pelly!" Her latest acquisition, he'd been left at the no-kill shelter where she spent a few hours each week as a volunteer. Pelly's original owner had shrugged when she dropped him off, saying, "I don't want a cross-eyed cat. Creeps me out." Unable to resist the silly-faced, talkative Siamese, Riley had adopted him. Arthur had immediately taken to the kitten, but Merlin, as he did most things new, had turned up his nose.